Blessings and greetings to the global community of theatres. My name is Otium Onto, coming to you live from Central Nigeria. It's always a pleasure to be with you. I hope you're fine and well. It's a rainy day here in Nigeria, and I think we're saying bye bye to August. When August is coming to an end, it's like the heavens are want to come down. The heavens want to rain everything because this we're entering as we enter the ember month. Rain will begin to cease gradually, and a lot of us don't actually know because do you actually know? And that is why I said Africans have been disconnected from their spirituality. Okay, ideally, September, which is next month, is supposed to be the African New Year. A lot of people don't know this. What the Westerner did was to make us celebrate New Year in January, which is not in harmony with our body because we human beings are made up of the four or the five basic elements. Okay, water, earth, fire, air, and ether, which is space. Okay, and the same thing that is found in the universe is found in us. So ideally, we are the universe experiencing itself in human body. In other words, we are the universe having a human experience. We are gods having a human experience. So as such, we must be in unity. We must be in sync. We must be in sync with our environment. The Westerners have disconnected us from our environment. This is the concept of the new year. The new year is known as the summer solstice. You can check this out. Check this out. During the summer solstice, um, the sun travels his father's to the it travel further to the either northern or southern hemisphere. Okay, it does this twice every year. In if he's traveling to the to the northern hemisphere, okay, it travels um in around December 22, 23, to 25th thereabout. Okay, that is when the sun travel leaves the southern hemisphere, which is Africa. Okay, Africa falls under the southern hemisphere. So the sun is when the sun is in southern hemisphere. Okay, and once it's December 2021 to 25 thereabout, it travels back to the northern hemisphere, which is the west. So by this time now, the Westerner come out to celebrate and welcome the sun. Okay, so that is their Christmas. So we in turn, sorry, I'm talking about, I'm not explaining I'm explaining the summer and spring equinox. Okay, spring, and that is the concept of Christmas. I will explain that of New Year. That is what I'm explaining now is summer solstice. Okay, summer solstice is when I'm confusing the entire concept. Sorry. But it's important to what I'm about to discuss today. Please permit me. It's very, very important to what I'm about to discuss today. I'm discussing Pan-Africanism, and it's about we Africans, about who we are. Because it's time for us to start to know who we are. Let me tell you why China was able to make significant success and they're able to catch up with China in no distant time. When Mao Zedong rose to put China on the roadmap, Mao Zedong educated his people. He made the people have knowledge of who they are. He made his people to have knowledge of self. Mao Zedong educated China to know their self. So we must begin to know who we are, because as we begin to have access to abundance, because the money we are looking for, it will come intact. The abundance will come intact. We need to be prepared. We need to understand how our system works, who we truly are, in order for us to handle this abundance. So Mao Zedong was able to educate Chinese to know who they are. Who are we as Africans? So it's very important for me to explain this concept carefully. So this is the idea of the summer solstice. The summer solstice is a time period where the sun travels from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere. Okay, and during this time, you have equal daylight. You have longer daylight and shorter night. Okay, so the Western world has adopted this system whereby I'm back then. So the network is I don't know what's saying. Actually it's raining, so the network is very bad. So as I was saying, um so our Christmas is supposed to be June 2020, June 20, June from June 21st to June 25th. That is when the sun comes back to the southern hemisphere, which is Africa. Now the spring equinox. The spring equinox is supposed to be our new year. Our new year is supposed to be September, which is next month. September is supposed to be our new year. Okay. So we need to understand that as Africans, okay, our spirituality has been tempered with, and because spirituality is the foundation of every civilization. Anybody that destroys your spirituality destroy the fabrics, has totally destroyed the fabrics of our nation. And that is why when the missionaries came, the first thing they attacked was our spirituality. Okay, so we need to know this. I know these things we are saying now will not take effect immediately, but in some parts in South Africa, the African calendar is starting to get implemented because we need to wake up. We need to embrace the ways of our ancestors. And now that's by the way. Now let's look at the topic for today: Pan-Africanism and cryptocurrency. Before I do, let me share my screen and let's see what Pan-Africanism is. Okay, yeah, you can see my screen. So it says, I'm going to read out loud. It says, Pan-Africanism, the idea that the idea that peoples of African descent have common interests and should be unified. Historically, Pan-Africanism has taken the shape of a political or cultural movement. There are many varieties of Pan-Africanism. In its narrowest political manifestation, Pan-Africanists envision a unified African nation where all people of African diaspora can live. African diaspora refers to long-term historical process by which people of African descent have been scattered from their ancestral homelands to other parts of the world. In general, more, this is I'm reading this translation from Britannica, and Britannica is owned by Britain. Do you know what they did here? Instead of writing slavery, they now sugarcoat the entire thing to say have been scattered, as if we scattered ourselves all over the continent, but they actually scattered us along. They actually scattered us in all the continents of the world. Okay, and they are saying here that they should say slavery. That is what they did to us, right? That is what they did to us. In more general terms, Pan-Africanism is the sentiment that people of African descent have a great deal in common, in a fact that deserves notice and even celebration. Okay, let me go back. Let me go back. Stop sharing my screen. Okay, so it talks about Pan-Africanism talks about unifying people of African descent globally. Okay, growing up, I used to listen to songs of Bob Marley and some people coming out from the Jamaica, and I actually thought and actually they used to say Jamaica is from Jamaica is in the Caribbean, and I would think Caribbean, and I was thinking, okay, just like Australia is a continent and a country, and I was thinking the Caribbean is also um, mm, um, just like Australia, okay, and I never knew we had brothers and sisters that are in that are highly populated, that have populated that entire region, that have a lot of islands. St. Kitts and Lucia, Antigua and Barbuda, the Bahamas, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Martin's, um, uh, Solomon Island, as Venezuela. Um, did I mention St. Kitts? Is no Peru. Peru is South America. Uh, uh, Actually, I'm trying to record the islands that are I call Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, so I call Bahamas as well. So they are actually, and these islands are actually populated by our people. By our people like look like you and I, people like us, our brothers and sisters that were taken into slavery. Okay, and they are the ones, and the most annoying part is that most of these islands, okay, their head of state are usually are still Britain, the Queen of England. It's just recently that I think Bahamas have to break away from Britain and had their own head of state, right? And Africans, we grew up with having mental borders infused into us. There's no such thing as border. Africans, the border is mental. The border is mental. They have infused borders in our mind that to think that we are different. No, we are not different. Look, I've I've done some shocking findings. Africans are the same. Like we are the first people on this planet. Before any other race was placed on this planet, it was us that were first here. We ruled this world for millions of years before others that came and colonized us. And now um we have borders that we are now divided along so many things by countries, regions. But this is why TAC is born. This is why TAC is here, okay? Because at the end of the day, as TAC begins to show its best in our lives, okay, we must fight for the unification of Africa. I'm tired of I'm tired of artificial borders. I want to visit I want to be able to visit uh Bamenda. I want to be able to visit Accra. I want to be able to visit Togo, Sierra Leone. I want to be able to visit South Africa. I want to be able to visit Sudan. I want to be able to visit Eritrea, Ethiopia, Gambia, Senegal. I want to be able to visit I want to be able to visit the Bahamas, St. Lucia, St. Kitts without having to show my visa, because I should be the visa. The color of my skin should be my visa. I was so annoyed I was so angry that Chief Abundance will come to Nigeria and he have to approve for visa. Our own blood coming back to his hometown, and before he will allow entry, before he will allow stay, he has to be issued out a visa. you know. And the the way the world, the blockchain has make it a lot more easier now, in the sense that, and blockchain and actually the internet has make it more easier for us to unite now without necessarily having the artificial borders that have been fused into our minds. Because it is now, we have tag in a 50 something countries worldwide. Okay. And as we gain more momentum, as the community continues to grow and expand, we must be conscious of our identity. We must be conscious of how we started. We must be conscious of our birth. We must be conscious of the original people. We must be conscious of who we truly are as a people. We must understand that, look, abundance is our birthright, it is our nature. Being poor, being poor should be frowned at, because Bob Marley said, you can't be living in the river and then using your saliva to wash your face, using your spit to wash your face. This is what is happening in Africa. We live in abundance, yet we are begging. Yet we can't feed ourselves. The problem in Africa is also, is in as much as it's colonial and it is imperialistic in nature, it is also self-inflicted. Right? TACC is here to correct. And I want us to immerse ourselves into the vision and mission of TACC, because this is the mistake that we must not do, the mistake that others have done. If we focus on chasing money, at the end of the day, we will end up not achieving anything. But if we focus on the mission and vision, we will be amazed at how much we are willing to achieve. Pan-Africanism started with our ancestors. Look at them here. This is what we set out to do. Chief Abundance should not come to Africa and they're having to request for visa. I shouldn't have to travel to Antigua and Barbuda. I shouldn't have to travel to Jamaica and then I will need a visa. Our brothers and sisters should not be able to should be able to come to Africa free without having to go through the process of suffering to acquire visa. Paper, a sheet of paper. A sheet of paper is nothing compared to our union. So yes, they have denied us so many things in the past, but cryptocurrency is here. We must use cryptocurrency as a force for good. TACC is a movement. TACC will unite us. It is uniting us right now. We must hold the vision sacred, right? We must finish the works that these people started. And you know, in as much as Africans have been, because the script says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Africans have been meant to believe the narrative that they are the sewers of food and drawers of water. That is not who we are. We are kings and queens. We are chief and chieftesses. We are the mother of creation. Everything in this world came from Black people. We are God's firstborn creation. We must begin to have pride in ourselves, not egotistical pride, not arrogance pride, but pride. We must start to take pride in who we truly are. We are king and queen, we are kings and queens, and we are blessed. It is our land that is flowing with milk and honey. And we should understand that, look at what is going on. Inflation is eating our currencies dry on a daily basis, right? Among all the currencies that are being used in Afro-Caribbean countries, none of these currencies is used to do international trade. And let's observe Africa. Every race on this continent unite. The Chinese are united. The Japanese are united. The Caucasians are united. Germans are united. The only people that are not united in this world, on this planet, is we black people. No, this should not continue with us. Mexicans are united, and people that are united, as far as you are united, nobody can bring you down. If there's no enemy within, the enemy outside cannot do us any harm. The reason why people are be able, the reason now let's talk about this. Africa is the most largest continent in the entire world, and on the map they've made us believe that Africa is not. It is funny. Africa can go in if you combine Europe, combine North America and South America. Africa is still bigger than these continents combined. And Africa feed the entire world. Come to Africa and see the way foreigners are trooping to Africa to do business. And Africans are trooping, other races are coming to Africa to do business. It is only our race. It is only black Africans like us from other continents, for example, there are black people who are taken to slavery in the US. There are black people who are taken to slavery in the UK, who are actually citizens of UK, who cannot actually trace their origin back, but they have now become the citizens of the United Kingdom and other European countries. Why you see Germans coming to Africa to do business? You see Europeans, you see Britons, Italians, Portuguese, Americans, Brazilians coming to Chinese coming to Africa to do business. You can't find black Africans in the US, in the Britain, in Germany coming to Africa to do business. For the first time, as far as I know, Chief Abundance took that initiative and he came back and he came amongst us. That is why I said somebody like us will die for this cause. Why can't black Africans come home and invest? Why can't they come back to Africa? They can't even, they don't want to even, black Africans don't even want, they don't even want to come and see how their continent looks like. They've been fed with negative news that our continent is filled with hunger, is filled with disease. And the Caucasians have been able to indoctrinate us in the sense that I was watching a documentary one day. The person was calling Europe, America, South America, and in each of these continents that he called, they will show a picture of a city. When he called America, you see a picture of a city. When he called Europe, you see a picture of a city. When he called Chinese, you see a picture of a city. But when they call Africa, you see the picture of a jungle with animals. I was so angry at that documentary. This is the picture that the Westerners have painted to our brothers and sisters. And I also watched documentaries on how black Africans are being interviewed, black people are being interviewed in the US. They were asking them, um, which I think they were asking them how many countries are in Africa, which continent, which countries, which was is it which how many continents are in Africa, countries are in Africa rather, and they don't even know. They don't know. Somebody said Nigeria is Nigeria is a country, like they actually thought Africa is a country, right? Yes, they thought Africa is a country. They don't know Africa is a continent that has more than 50 something countries that have been divided artificially by our slave masters. Because Africans didn't divide this before the coming of the white man. Africans, there was nothing like border. It was the Caucasians that came and divided us. And now we are finding it difficult to unite. you know. So TACC will do it for us. TACC will create wealth for us, right? And we will use this way to develop our people, to develop ourselves and our people. Satoshi Nakamoto has given us a blueprint. Crypto is here to stay. There's no going back, right? There's no going back. Bless up my brother. With Yom TACC will not find anyone, for that is not TACC. For the ones who find TACC, they will change the world. One love, brother. Keep up the fire burning. Grand rising, brother. TACC is not here to chase after. Exactly, bro. You're right. Yes. Eventually, they will come chasing at us. You know, um, when Bitcoin was created and it was facing a lot of attacks, and somebody said, and when Bitcoin eventually succeeded a few years later, somebody said, first they laugh when you start something, first they laugh at, first they ignore you, right? Then they laugh at you, right? Then they fight you, right? Then you win. They've done this to us all. They've ignored us, they've laughed at us, they've attacked us. So many slave masters, the slave master daughter coming out from Antigua and Barbuda, writing so many negative things about that attack is a scam. They've attacked us, and some are still attacking us till now. Yes, but eventually we'll win. Thank you very much. That continues to go uphill. Peace.